Thank you for listening. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know where you're listening from. Now let's continue with Chapter 5. I woke to the soft murmur of voices. Low, steady, not quite words, but tones. For a moment, I thought I was back in the pack infirmary, surrounded by whispers of pity and disapproval. But when my eyes opened, the memory shattered. Stone walls, golden firelight, the scent of pine and cold steel, the Lycan King's keep. A young healer sat beside my bed, grinding herbs in a small stone bowl. She startled when she noticed me awake. "Oh, good morning," she said warmly. "You're healing well." She set aside the bowl and moved closer, checking the bandage on my shoulder with careful fingers. "His Majesty will be pleased." My breath caught. He asked about me. Several times since dawn. A strange, fluttering tension twisted beneath my ribs, part fear, part something else I didn't want to name. "He shouldn't concern himself with me," I said quietly. The healer gave me a look that was both kind and knowing. "Our king concerns himself with what matters." I didn't know how to answer that. I didn't even know how to believe it. In Moonshadow, I had been something no one wanted. Not a burden worth killing, but certainly not a treasure worth keeping. Healing quietly in a corner had been expected of me. Being noticed had always been a prelude to humiliation. The idea of a king, any king, asking after my condition felt dangerous, unreal. The healer finished checking my wounds, then rose. "I'll fetch you broth. Your body needs strength." She left through the side door, and silence settled into the room. Not empty silence. Watchful. The hairs on the back of my neck lifted. I knew someone else was there before I saw him. He stood in the shadowed corner between two carved pillars, so still I had mistaken him for part of the room. When he stepped forward, moonlight from the window caught on the dark metal of his braces and the sharp lines of his face. The Lycan King. Ronan Draven. I sucked in a breath, surprised despite myself. "How long have you been standing there?" "Long enough," he said, voice low. His eyes moved over me. Not lustful, not pitying, simply assessing. Like he was making sure nothing else had harmed me in the night. "I didn't feel you enter," I said. "You weren't meant to." A small shiver moved through me. He drew closer, but not too close. He stopped at the foot of the bed, hands clasped loosely behind his back, posture relaxed in a way that still radiated authority. "You slept deeply," he said. "Your body needed it." "Because of the rogues?" I asked softly. His jaw tightened. "Because of everything. Everything. The rejection. The exile. The bond breaking inside me like glass." I looked down at my hands, twisting the blanket between nervous fingers. "I'm sorry you had to save me. I know I must have been a burden." His eyebrows lowered, almost imperceptibly. "A burden?" "Yes." I forced a weak smile. "That's what Moonshadow called me." Ronan didn't move. He didn't speak. The silence stretched until I dared glance up. His expression was unreadable, but not neutral. Controlled. Contained. Like fire banked beneath ice. "Moonshadow," he said quietly, "was wrong." My throat tightened. No one had ever said that before. Not even Mara. Not the gentlest elder. Not a single wolf in 22 years. "Why?" I whispered. "Why would you care?" He held my gaze for a long, long moment. Then his voice softened, not gentle, but unguarded. "Because you shouldn't have been left to bleed in a forest alone." I opened my mouth, but the words tangled in my throat. Ronan stepped closer and rested one hand lightly on the carved footboard of the bed, not touching me, but close enough that I felt a strange heat radiate from him. "You are under my protection now, Elara. While you are here, no one will harm you. No one will insult you. No one will name you as less." Something inside me trembled. Not fear. Not longing. Recognition. Like the faint whisper in my mind stirred again. I swallowed hard. "I don't understand why you'd offer that to someone you just met." "You didn't just meet me," he said quietly. Before I could ask what that meant, the side door opened. The healer returned with a tray of broth and water, bowing her head immediately when she saw Ronan. "My king," she murmured. Ronan stepped back, giving me space. The healer set the tray on the bedside table and looked at me. "Try to eat. Your strength will return faster." "Thank you," I said softly. She nodded and withdrew. I reached for the bowl, but my arm trembled from weakness. Before I could steady it, Ronan moved. "Allow me." He took the bowl, not touching me directly, not coming too close, simply offering help without expectation. He held it out, giving me the choice to take it or not. For a moment, I just stared at him. No alpha in my pack had ever offered me anything. Not help, not gentleness, not even a moment of dignity. I took the bowl from his hands. The heat of the broth seeped into my palms, and for one fragile heartbeat, gratitude rose so sharply it hurt. "Thank you," I whispered. Ronan's eyes softened by a fraction, just a fraction. "Eat. When you finish, I'll have your healers prepare a bath. Warm water will help the bruising." "You don't need to." "I know what I need," he said simply. Something about the certainty in his voice settled deep in my chest. He turned toward the door, cloak shifting behind him in a ripple of black. But before he stepped out, he paused. "Elara." I lifted my eyes. "When you are strong enough," he said, "we will speak. There are truths you deserve to know." A strange flutter raced through me, fear and hope, and something else I had no name for. "Truths about what?" I whispered. He held my gaze. "About you." Then he left, the door closing quietly behind him. But long after he had gone, I could still feel the echo of his presence in the room. A steady weight, a promise, a certainty, the opposite of abandonment. As I sipped the broth, warmth spreading through my body, the faint whisper stirred again. Soft, curious, awakening. "Mine?" I froze. My heart pounded. No, it wasn't possible. I had no wolf. I had no one. I set the bowl aside with trembling hands and pressed a palm to my chest. But the echo was still there, quiet but unmistakably real. A voice I had spent my whole life without. A voice I wasn't supposed to have at all. Something inside me was waking, and it wasn't Kale's bond calling to me anymore. It was answering someone else. Someone whose presence had shaken the night. Someone whose wolf had recognized me. The Lycan King. Thank you for listening. Chapter 6 will be out soon. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment.